Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Tonight we delve into the unsettling world of deserted cafes, places where the aroma of forgotten coffee lingers in the air and the silence whispers of stories untold. Imagine stepping inside an abandoned cafe, the dust-covered chairs and vacant tables painting a picture of forgotten memories. But what happens when those memories refuse to fade away? Tonight we explore three chilling tales of ghostly apparitions in deserted cafes. Prepare yourself, for these stories will send shivers down your spine and leave you questioning the reality of the unseen world. Our first story takes us to a small, forgotten town on the outskirts of Illinois, where an old, abandoned cafe sits on a desolate street corner. The locals whisper tales of a phantom barista, a spectral figure who roams the empty cafe at the stroke of midnight. One stormy evening, a young traveler named David found himself stranded in this forgotten town. Seeking shelter from the relentless downpour, he stumbled upon the abandoned cafe. Peering through the dusty windows, he noticed a faint light flickering inside. Driven by curiosity and the desperate need for shelter, David cautiously approached the cafe. He tried the doorknob, surprised to find it unlocked. As he stepped inside, a musty smell, a mix of old coffee and decay, washed over him. Suddenly he heard a noise, a soft rhythmic clinking coming from behind the counter. His heart pounding, David slowly made his way toward the sound. There, standing before him, was a shadowy figure, its features obscured by the dim lighting. The figure was dressed in a faded white apron, its translucent hands moving with an eerie grace as it wiped down the counter. David watched in terror as the spectral barista turned its head, its eyes, two empty sockets, seeming to stare directly at him. Frozen in fear, David could only watch as the phantom barista reached for a cup, its movements fluid and deliberate. The clinking of the cup against the saucer echoed through the silent cafe, each sound sending chills down David's spine. David, his mind struggling to comprehend the impossible scene before him, stumbled backward, knocking over a chair. The loud noise seemed to shatter the ghostly barista's concentration. Terrified, David turned and fled, the image of the phantom barista seared into his mind. Some say the phantom barista is still there, trapped in its spectral routine, forever brewing coffee for customers who will never come. Our next story takes us to the heart of Paris, a city teeming with life, love, and a history that whispers from every cobblestone street. Hidden away in a quiet alley, nestled between a bustling bookstore and a vintage clothing shop, is a small cafe, its once vibrant facade now faded and cracked. The locals know to avoid this place, for it is said to be haunted by the ghost of a waitress who met an untimely end within its walls. They say her whispers can still be heard, echoing through the empty cafe, seeking someone, anyone, who will listen to her story. One evening, a young American writer named Anna stumbled upon the cafe. Drawn in by its melancholic charm, she decided to venture inside. The air inside was thick with the scent of stale cigarette smoke and forgotten dreams. The velvet curtains were drawn, shrouding the cafe in a perpetual twilight. As Anna settled into a dusty velvet chair, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was not alone. A cold draft seemed to follow her every move, sending shivers down her spine, and then she heard it, a faint whisper, barely audible above the hum of the old neon sign outside. At first, Anna dismissed it as her imagination, but the whispers persisted, growing louder, more insistent. They seemed to be coming from the direction of the old dumbwaiter, a relic from the cafe's past. Curiosity overriding her fear, Anna slowly approached the dumbwaiter. As she neared it, the whispers intensified, swirling around her like the ghostly remnants of a forgotten conversation. "He didn't believe me," the voice whispered, its tone laced with sadness and a deep-seated anger. "He wouldn't listen." Anna, her heart pounding in her chest, reached out and touched the worn wooden door of the dumbwaiter. As her fingers brushed against the cold surface, the whispers ceased abruptly, replaced by a deafening silence. And then she saw it. A fleeting glimpse of a young woman in a faded black dress, her face pale and drawn, her eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and desperation. The apparition vanished as quickly as it had appeared, leaving Anna shaken and filled with an overwhelming sense of dread. Determined to uncover the truth behind the whispering waitress, Anna began to ask questions. She learned from the elderly owner of the bookstore next door that the cafe had been the site of a tragic accident decades ago. According to the old man's tale, a young waitress named Celeste had been madly in love with a charming but penniless artist. She had stolen money from the cafe's owner, hoping to help her lover escape his debts. When the theft was discovered, Celeste swore her innocence, claiming she had been framed, but no one believed her. Heartbroken and desperate, she took her own life within the very walls of the cafe. The old man told Anna that Celeste's ghost had haunted the cafe ever since, her whispers a desperate plea for someone to hear her story, to clear her name. Anna, touched by Celeste's tragic fate, vowed to uncover the truth. She spent her days researching old newspapers, searching for any mention of Celeste or the theft. Finally, in the archives of a local library, she found it, a small article tucked away on the back page of a newspaper from the 1940s. The article detailed the arrest of a local art dealer, a man known for his shady dealings, who had been caught attempting to sell a stolen painting. The painting, the article revealed, had once belonged to the owner of the cafe where Celeste had worked. Armed with this new information, Anna returned to the cafe. Standing before the old dumbwaiter, she spoke to Celeste's ghost, telling her that she had found evidence of the art dealer's crimes, that Celeste's name could finally be cleared. As Anna spoke, the air grew heavy with the scent of lilies, Celeste's favorite flower. The temperature in the cafe dropped, and a single white lily materialized on the dusty floor, a sign, perhaps, that Celeste's spirit had finally found peace. From that day forward, the whispers ceased, but the legend of the whispering waitress lives on, a reminder that even in death, the truth has a way of making itself known. Chapter 3. The Haunting of Café Noir. Our final story brings us to the shadowy streets of New Orleans, a city steeped in voodoo, mystery, and tales of the undead. In the heart of the French Quarter, nestled among vibrant jazz clubs and historic voodoo shops, stood Café Noir, a once popular hangout for artists, writers, and musicians. But Café Noir harbored a dark secret, a sinister history that kept the locals away. It was said to be haunted by the vengeful spirit of its former owner, Jean-Luc, a man known for his fiery temper and his ruthless business practices. Legend had it that Jean-Luc had been swindled out of his beloved cafe by a rival, driven to madness by the betrayal. In a fit of rage, he had cursed the cafe, vowing to seek revenge on anyone who dared to claim it as their own. Years passed, and Café Noir stood abandoned, its windows boarded up, its doors chained shut. Those who dared to venture near the cafe at night spoke of strange noises emanating from within, the sound of shattering glass, disembodied voices arguing, and the eerie melodies of a phantom jazz band. One humid night, a group of college students, eager to prove their bravery and fueled by cheap beer and ghost stories, decided to explore the abandoned cafe. They had heard the rumors, of course, but dismissed them as mere superstition. Armed with flashlights and a sense of reckless abandon, they pried open the boarded-up windows and slipped inside. The air inside was thick with dust and decay, the only light coming from their flickering flashlights. The students fanned out, their laughter echoing through the empty cafe, their voices a jarring contrast to the unsettling silence that had hung over the building for years. As they ventured deeper into the cafe, they began to notice strange occurrences. Shadows seemed to dance at the edge of their flashlight beams, and the temperature dropped dramatically, sending shivers down their spines. One of the students, a cocky young man named Mark, stumbled upon a dusty piano, its keys yellowed with age. He ran his fingers across the keys, the discordant notes hanging in the air like a phantom sigh. Suddenly the piano erupted into a cacophony of sound, each note filled with an almost tangible rage. Mark, startled by the sudden outburst, stumbled backward, tripping over a chair and landing hard on the floor. As he lay there, his heart pounding in his chest, he heard a voice, a deep guttural growl that seemed to emanate from the very walls of the cafe. "This is my domain," the voice boomed, its tone filled with a chilling menace. "Leave now or face my wrath." Terrified, the students scrambled to their feet and ran towards the broken windows, their youthful bravado gone. As they fled into the night, they could hear the sound of Jean-Luc's laughter echoing behind them, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked within the walls of Café Noir. The next morning, the locals found Mark lying unconscious outside the cafe, his body covered in scratches, his eyes wide with terror. He babbled incoherently about shadows and a vengeful spirit, his words a chilling testament to the horrors he had witnessed. From that day forward, the stories of Café Noir's haunting grew even darker, more sinister. The cafe remained abandoned, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can linger in the places we leave behind. And the vengeful spirit of Jean-Luc, bound to the cafe he loved and lost, continued to roam its shadowy halls, forever seeking revenge on those who dared to disturb his eternal slumber. The stories of the Phantom Barista, the whispering waitress, and the haunting of Café Noir serve as chilling reminders that some places hold on to their pasts long after the doors are closed and the lights are turned off. These deserted cafes, once filled with life and laughter, now stand as silent sentinels, their empty spaces echoing with the whispers of forgotten memories and the lingering presence of those who have crossed over to the other side. Thank you for joining me tonight as we explored the chilling tales of ghostly apparitions in deserted cafes. If you enjoyed tonight's stories, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more spine-tingling content. Until next time, my friends, sweet dreams.